Well, hello, everybody. Welcome back to week 3 of the all new Frankie J Raw presented by the Frankie J Experience, of course. I'm your host, Frankie J, and back for another week. I'm excited. I'll pull myself up on video. Hello, everybody. Welcome, Mark. Welcome to the show. And for the first few weeks, I'll just go over exactly what the show is about. What we do is we pick a topic, and every Tuesday, right here live on Fireside, we do a live from start to finish debate, argument, agreement, whatever you want to call it, on one specific topic, and we do it in 30 minutes, period. And then we move on to next week to a brand new topic. It could be a topic that you, as the audience, can pick by emailing me at info@frankiejexperience.com. Hit me up on my website, which is all right there in the fortune cookie. So I appreciate everybody that was here last week, all two of you. But I did get a good number of replays, and I do appreciate everybody that watches the replays because I know it's not common practice where people, unless they're huge fans, watch the replays. I'm guilty of it myself, but I've actually started recently. But I'm going to mention also that I'm really, really excited. I was invited to be on Deanna, her wellness show. Everyone knows Deanna here. She does life coaching and such, and I was lucky enough to get the invite to share some of my stories. So tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'll be here again live on Fireside, but on Deanna's show. I'll go ahead and share that show after we wrap up here today. But again, a little bit of house cleaning before we get started. The way this show's designed is it's 30 minutes long. We pick a topic, we discuss it, hash it out from start to end in 30 minutes. But the key is to keep the show moving. So what we'll do is if anybody wants to come up and contribute to the show with a comment, a question, any sort of input, we ask that you come up, keep it quick. And then once you make your point or ask your question, we'll kindly remove you from the stage. So that way we can keep, one person at a time. So it keeps organized. And most importantly, we make the most out of our 30 minutes because we are going to get a lot done here in 30 minutes. That's the whole idea of the show. And that's why I thought about it. And last week's topic was a good one. And this week I think is appropriate with everybody podcasting these days and starting it out of the blue. In most cases, they don't have the statistics or the facts in front of them to decide how long should their podcast be. And that's been an ongoing, I don't want to say argument because it's not an argument, with a very, very good woman. She's actually who I call my career coach / mother figure. And her and I argue about it all the time. She's, I love her to death, but her and I can really have some really good debates. And this really hasn't been an argument, more so it's more of a debate. And we always circle back around to this one particular topic. How long should a podcast be in length? How long should it be? 5 minutes, half hour, 2 hours? And I've been asking myself that same question since I started podcasting. And going 4 years ago when I had never podcasted in my life, let alone what I believe I'd be here 4 years later, A, talking live, B, and on camera. I'm that guy that would break cameras in the past, but I'm beautiful. I'm even pulling off the purple look today for the very first time live on Fireside. First time I've ever worn purple live on camera. So I'm going to see how that goes over. And the debate is still going on between New York and New Jersey. They're arguing about who has the cleanest water. And so far, New Jersey is winning the battle, saying their water's cleaner. New York State's saying that they'll look into it. Well, I'm 44 as of this past Sunday, and I'm still waiting for my first tax return. So, yeah, no, it's true. Don't hold your breath. New York, when they say they're looking into it, that means that they are throwing it on a desk where nobody sits. So, anyways, moving forward, that was my little dig at my own state today. The topic, how long should a podcast be? Mark, if you have any input on this, I'd appreciate it if you wanted to come up. I'm not certain if you're a robot or not, so I always wonder if you're on the same level as the Woody visitor that hits our rooms up. But anyways, I have my own opinion and based on facts. 4 years ago when I started podcasting, the person I picked to be my co-host partner for the show, him and I were doing 2 hour long shows, no break, nothing. And after 1, 2, 3 episodes, we were 23, maybe 35 listeners. And being, novice podcasters, we thought that was good. But then I started looking it up on the internet a little bit. How long should a podcast be? And based on the research I did on the internet, I have it pulled up right now on my other computer here, is the average podcast, and this is out of 980,000 worldwide, 980,000 podcasts. The average length of a podcast is 38.6 minutes. That's what it says. And there's podcasts as short as 1 minute. There's podcasts as long as 5, 6, 7, 24 hours. I mean, they're all over the place, but the average is 38.6 minutes. Now, in my humble opinion, the length of a podcast should depend on a few things. And again, this is information I've obtained from all different sources. It's not just one website and I read it all and I wrote it all down. That's not the case. So it really depends. I had my notes ready and I lost them. Anyways, it depends on what kind of podcast are you doing. Are you doing like a quick news flash? Are you doing an interview podcast? Are you doing a deep dive, a game show? What sort of podcast are you doing? And who are you doing it alone? Are you working with somebody as a co-host, or is there multiple people that are going to be on the panel? So I think you make your podcast the length based on what style and what format you're using for your podcast. For me, the half-hour show that I'm going to be doing here on Tuesdays, every Tuesday live here on Fireside at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, excuse me. I woke up late today, so the coffee has not quite kicked in yet, as you can tell. But anyways, for me, the half-hour show that I'm doing here on Tuesdays is fitting for a few reasons, because statistically, again, the information I've looked up shows that typically on a Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, those are your best days overall to release or to have a podcast, live or recorded, whatever. Those are the 3 days of the week that you have the highest saturation of people worldwide listening to, watching, whatever, uploading podcasts. So everybody would think, well, Saturday, Sunday, my numbers should go up because everyone's home, they're not working, when it's actually the opposite, because people tend to listen to podcasts more when they're at work. If they're doing busy work and they're allowed to wear headphones, they'll listen to podcasts. On their lunch breaks even, they'll listen to a podcast. When they're when they're off of work during the week, when there's no family functions like there would be on a weekend, you're going to get more listeners and followers and subscribers and all that. So again, what days are you going to be doing your podcast? What's your podcast on? Is it a serious podcast? Is it about money? Is it about business? Or is it a comedy, make fun of yourself, sort of like Frankie J style podcast? What kind of podcast are you doing? And that's where I kind of have my opinion based on the information I've obtained via the internet. If you're going to do like a deep dive interview into someone's life, obviously not their whole life in one show, but if you're going to do a deep dive and you want to get enough information from that guest to supply your audience with what they're tuning in for, like I'm a Dr. Phil fan, like a Dr. Phil show, there is an hour blocked out on TV for that show. Now, it's not a full hour because you got to consider your 2-minute, 1 to 2 minute commercial breaks. So if you average it out, his shows are about 35-ish minutes long in total, and he does interviews on some serious topics at times, really serious topics, and he'll do it to be continued to do the same format the next day. So that would be in the range of a 45-minute podcast the way we do it, especially here on Fireside as of late. We don't really have commercial breaks unless we enter them on our own, and typically we don't. I've tried to implement some commercials here, and it's not quite the way I want it, so I kind of backed off of doing it until I figure out a better way, technology-wise. But in any event, so for me, if I'm going to tune into any information I'm sharing right now is just my humble opinion until someone wants to come up and, debate me or prove me otherwise or give me good reason to believe otherwise. I'll keep rambling. But for an interview, I would expect at least 45 minutes because I want to know a little bit about the person. A. B. I want to know a little bit why they're there. Why are they being interviewed? What's the purpose? And then C. I want to hear it. So for me, 45 minutes is good because you've got 15 minutes to learn about the guest, 15 minutes to learn about the story of why the guest is there, and then 15 minutes to kind of bring it all together and take it home. So for me, now again, my opinion, 45 minutes is well more than enough time to do what we would call a professional deep dive, exclusive primetime interview live. Um, then again, you have people out there that can pull off the 1 minute podcast, the podcast that is literally 60 seconds. And those would probably be more like your quote of the days. There's people out there that make a living off of doing one quote a day. They do it live every morning, same time, same place. They'll pre-record them for months in advance and they'll have them scheduled to release automatically. And they make a living off of doing 1 minute quick podcast. Great. That's the way they chose to deliver their podcast. That's the length of time they felt was sufficient for them to pull that time off or to pull that commercial off or that message or whatever they're trying to share. So based on the results that that person might be getting, their model fits. For me, am I good for a 2 or 3 hour podcast? Yeah, because I can talk. And those are other factors. How do you present yourself on camera? Are you talking too fast? Are you just blowing through your script, making it a 15-minute podcast when it should be 45? So everything kind of gets chopped up in there in between. So for me, the half-hour podcast on Tuesday is good because people are just getting settled in from their first, their Monday back after the weekend at work. Tuesday is kind of the day where they're back in the saddle again for the week. And typically they'll, take their lunch break at 12 on average, 12 noon. And they can pop my show on and either watch and listen or just listen or watch or both or whatever. But if they like what I'm doing and the topic I'm talking about, then they're going to tune in. That's just a lot of it has to do with your fan base and your target audience. I'm a quick, fast moving guy sometimes. I mean, today I'm here, tomorrow I could be in another state. Things happen overnight in my life sometimes. So I'm more of the, let's get it going and let's talk about it. And if you can talk about a very serious topic in a half hour with multiple people and their input and their ideas and their beliefs, you're going to get more efficient intelligence because when people are on the clock, they're going to bring their best game forward, meaning they're not going to fart around with their ideas that are written down in a notebook. Excuse me. They're going to bring out their big guns. So you're going to get more intelligent, efficient, gut and intuition, thought out ideas than you would telling a story. So my opinion, based on my research and conversations in the past with people for all different reasons, if you have a quicker conversation and there's a set time, you're going to bring out your best information. And then when you analyze that information, you're going to get a truer, in my opinion, a more accurate take on what you're presenting, what your, story is for that show. And then on my Thursday shows, I choose 45 minutes. And that's where I interview all different sorts of people from different backgrounds, different histories, different careers, ethnic backgrounds, all different people from all walks of life. And so I use the 45-minute format where I do the first 15 generally kind of breaking the ice on who is this person, why is this person here, and then the second 15 minutes bringing the topic out along with keeping the introduction going of who and why this person is here, getting a little deeper into the story, and then the last 15 minutes kind of tying it all together, bringing it home. What are they doing now? What's their current plan? What are they working on? What links can they take us to follow them, et cetera, et cetera. And then I close it out and we move on to the next show the next week. Now, there are people that'll do shows every single day. They'll do an hour show every day. Like, the Kelly Clarkson show, or Dr. Phil, has a show every day. I don't do a show every day. So that's just not my style yet. I'm trying to ease you all into the awesomeness of Frankie J. So I don't want to do 1 hour shows every day. And I also like watching other people's shows on here. And I'll endorse the shows that I like. I love Judge Dan Winslow and his show Sidebar. I think that's a really cool show. It's a good format, and it's my style of a show. He brings on a guest or two or three, and they discuss a topic. It's well organized, it's put together, and there's rules of being involved with the show. Like I did the house cleaning in the beginning of, one person at a time. Ask your question, we'll kindly boot you from the stage. He has that sort of format, and he does it for 45 minutes. And that's the way he puts it together. And maybe that's why I'm drawn to liking his show no matter what the topic is. And he's engaged. He encourages audience participation right from the get-go. He tells you how, and you're welcome to come up. And sometimes if the time permits and no one's requesting to come up, you bring up a second time. Really good show for those of you out there that are looking for a good show on Thursdays at noontime. Typically is when it is. I think he's between seasons right now, but 12 noon on Thursdays is when his show is. So anyways, back to my show. My show is awesome too, and that's my format on my Thursday shows. Now, my Thursday shows I do on a different platform because of the length of the show. I feel more comfortable using the other platforms' way of doing it. It's more like a Zoom meeting where it's a discussed show prior. It's not pre-scripted, it's pre-talked about. So we all get together and figure out how, when, what's the best time for, et cetera, et cetera. So again, how long should your podcast be? So what I did from the start until this very moment, and I've worked through a lot of tough times where, I've worked with people who I still really like and consider friends, but for the meantime, we are all broke off to do sort of our own thing. I worked my way through trying to work with co-hosts and having partners, things like that. And I've done quite a bit of trials and had a whole bunch of successes, but at the same time, some failures that I was mostly to blame because I wasn't more upfront with what my vision was and what the rules of my show were. I didn't set boundaries, I guess. So for now, my best format is what I'm doing here on Fireside, doing a quick half-hour show on Tuesdays called Frankie J Raw. And I can't wait for people to start really jumping in this show and being involved because we're going to bring up some really great topics. And now with the NFL season just around the corner, there's always some drama going on in the NFL. Injuries. I'm a huge Bills fan. There's probably people out there that hate Bills Mafia, and we can talk about, why the Bills fans are the number one fans in the nation. Why are we the best fan base? I'll argue that. That'll be our next show. Why are the Bills fans the best fans in the world? And bring your team, bring your argument, back it up. And that's what we do here on Frankie J Raw every Tuesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time live here on Fireside. And I'm even going to try to push forward and see if I can't get a guest where we can do a half hour of just drilling out the guest and trying to rattle their facts or their opinions and do it in a very respectful, fun, and organized sort of way. I'm an organized guy, and I like to have fun, and I like to laugh, and I'll make fun of myself all day long. So to those of you out there, you can't offend me unless you go really deep, and no one's going to ever do that because everyone here is respectful, so I don't anticipate that. But I look forward to keeping consistent, being here every Tuesday at noon, and pulling this show off. And to those of you out there that are probably going to watch the replay, because I only got one person here marked, please feel free to send me an email at info@frankiejexperience.com if you have any sort of topic, show idea, anything that you've debated about recently in the past that you anticipate coming. It can be anything, any topic whatsoever. and send me an email and put in the subject line show idea, and then tell me a little bit about your idea, back it up, and we'll determine if it will come on the show or not. Not everyone will make it. I've, submitted a lot of ideas, and a lot of my ideas have been shut down. So if I can take it, you can too. And also visit my website, frankiejexperience.com. All my current up-to-date information is there. You can apply to be on the show as a guest on my other show on Thursday nights at 8 p.m. And I'm always looking for show ideas as well. I want to know what you want. I'm here for all of your entertainment purposes. When I'm here creating a show, I want you all to be engaged. I want you all to have fun. Most importantly, I want you all to leave with a message of something or other, and it all being truth, Frankie J. Raw style. And right now it's 22 minutes after the hour, and that's how quick this show goes. And if we would have had a couple participants, it would have been even better. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let you all know about my guest this week coming up Thursday at 8 p.m. It's actress, author, speaker, and veteran of the movie world. And her name is Natasha Warrock, and she'll be here live. Well, be on my other platform live Thursday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That'll be podbrothernation.com. You can watch it live on my website as well. As soon as you link onto my website, the live link is right there. You can tune in there, and we're going to chop it up with her, learn a little bit about her background, why she became an actress, what inspired her, and what is inspiring her today. So that's going to be a really interesting show. And then next week here at 12 noon Eastern Time, I'll come up with the next topic. I'll blast social media with it. We'll get opinions started, and I'll do it on another platform too, just to get the topic going. I like this kind of format. I like to debate in healthy, professional ways. Man, get thirsty when you have to talk by yourself. But I love it. I love to have healthy, friendly, fun debates, and about topics that typically people don't want to talk about because they're afraid they're always right, or they're afraid they're always wrong. Why bother? Why should I bother even talking about it? Because no one's going to listen to me anyways. Here on Frankie J. Raw, we listen to everybody. Everybody's input is important. And then we will all try to tie it at the end, and we can leave the discussion wide open. We can visit it at a later time. We can continue it to next week if we have to. The point is, it's a half hour. It's going to be fun. It's going to be powerful. And I invite everybody, I encourage everybody to tune in here live every Tuesday, 12 noon Eastern Standard Time. Spend your lunch with me, the one, the only, Frankie J, here on Frankie J Raw, a production of the Frankie J Experience. So I appreciate everyone who's been here today. Mark was my only audience member, which is fine, but I know that people will watch the replay. I look forward to next week. I will bring the topic up here over the weekend.